Okay, so before we get into the juicy new Sonic community drama, I want to quickly point out that Meta PCs is having a Memorial Day weekend sale where you can get a free mouse and keyboard with the purchase of any PC starting this Friday all the way until Monday. And as always, if you use my link in the description and code Bowblax at checkout, you will get a discount on top of that. So if you want to support the channel and get a high quality custom made PC with a free mouse and keyboard, be sure to click the first link in the description below and check out Meta PCs. But for now, on to the Sonic drama. So this is definitely the most petty video I have ever made, but this drama is just too funny to me to not share with you guys. So I'm getting attacked by the Sonic community on Twitter, getting destroyed in the quote retweets. And it all started when a Sonic YouTuber called Premi Deremi uploaded a video where they showed and discussed a tweet made by DD that ended up getting 300k views on Twitter. Here is what he said in the video.
More and more Critical Frontiers posts are being released now. Here's another big one. It says here, why is there no significant visual update between these two? And we see a picture of Unleashed, and then we see a picture of Frontiers. And it said, if you told me both of them came out in the same year, I'd believe you. Okay, makes logical sense, right? Unleashed was a big budget game, Frontiers was not.
So, nothing out of the ordinary, he just showed the tweet, talked about what was in it, didn't even really criticize it. But that didn't stop Sonic Twitter from getting really mad at Premi for allegedly sending harassment DD's way by showcasing the tweet in his video without censoring out their username. Another Sonic YouTuber called Unleash defends Premi Deremi when he quote tweets what I assume is DD complaining about Premi's video, although their account is deactivated now so I can't see the original tweet, but regardless, Unleash quote tweets them and says, I'm failing to see the issue here. It's a public tweet for the whole world to see, and when used, didn't get any insults thrown at the tweeter, including the profile picture is how you give credit to the person who tweeted it. What is the actual problem here? Then Coral Reefy responds by saying, man, just because someone posts something doesn't give anyone any right to use what they posted, whether it's words or something else, and you not seeing the problem with people doing it without consent is insanely creepy. Do better. DD was my friend. I'm very disappointed. Shame on you. Unleash replies, there's nothing creepy about screenshotting an intentionally public tweet. Nothing will ever convince me otherwise. Coral responds, if you see no issues with not respecting people's consent, then I don't need to hear more from you. Unleash responds, consent for screenshotting a public post on twitter.com. Now, once I see this argument on Twitter, considering what I do for a living, I obviously have to step in. So I screenshot their Twitter thread and say, it's now creepy and unconsensual to screenshot public tweets for your YouTube videos. And this is when Sonic Twitter went absolutely nuts on me. I had no idea that there were so many people in this fandom that are vehemently against having their public tweets about Sonic the Hedgehog shared outside of Twitter. This first tweet comes from @lizard_scales who says, sorry that people not wanting their tweets getting posted on YouTube without their consent bothers you so much. There's people who've gotten harassed because y'all slap it in a video without consent, or even bothering to censor names. @TransLukeNick3 says, this is such a weird hill to die on. No, you don't understand. I have to keep their names uncensored. I can't be bothered to spend 5 seconds in MS Paint. Agron Ghost says, it doesn't take that long to blur out someone's name. Renegade Relic Zero says, dude, how did you miss the point entirely? It takes a few seconds to crop out the name. Not doing that opens up innocent people on the internet to harassment and bullying. If you were talking about it in a positive light, the rules can be bent, but if not, hide the @ Cookie Blobber says, some people just don't want to appear in videos. Why not respect that? @Cyan Hyper Psychic says, it takes 5 seconds to blot out a name in MS Paint. Literally the same principle as blurring a dude's photo. I didn't know how you guys can die on this hill. I am a person that 5 says, if people don't want to appear in a video, they don't have to. @ShadowX says, must have been your top priority to keep the identities of the Twitter users anonymous, so that they don't get bullied by random people. @TerraCham69 says, you can do this all you want, but if you choose to disregard privacy and not black out names or ats, then it's your own damn fault for the backlash you get. It's not that hard to not be a D-bag to someone. Come on, do better. Crazy how I've had 0 backlash until now about reading other people's tweets after doing this for 4 years and getting over 100 million views worth of people seeing these tweets made by random people, but the discussion around those tweets never go beyond the YouTube comment section. Surprisingly enough, most people don't care to go to Twitter to harass people just because they saw a bad take amongst hundreds of other takes in a YouTube video. But if I do end up getting backlash, well, I can just call it harassment and play victim. And now we have the big one. @GalaxyLover Lover06 says, "Wow, good job. You missed the point entirely. Gonna take this opportunity to write one last thread on this situation. Buckle up, 1 of 25. Context. Didi was a small art/edit account who suddenly blew up overnight. For some people this sounds great, but for them personally, it was overwhelming. And because they were considered a big account, they often got a lot of harassment, something they were not prepared for. In the past month, it had only gotten worse, and when they began to notice that their tweets were often shared in YouTube videos, it made them anxious. Their harmless throwaway tweets were already getting way more attention than they expected, and this only brought more. So they tweet out saying they want YouTubers to stop putting specifically their tweets in videos, or at least censor their name to avoid any more potential harassment. This is a fair, reasonable ask, and I already made a thread on why. However, Unleash decided it wasn't, and would go on to promote the idea that because Didi's tweets are public, any harassment they receive is a consequence of that, before going back on that point to save face. Also, see how easy it is to blur names? They then share some tweets. This first one comes from someone replying to Unleash saying, "I mean, it might be public, but if they don't like it, that's their decision to make, I guess." Unleash responds, "Making a tweet public always comes with consequences, and it's up to the tweeter if they want to deal with them. I don't see anybody complaining when Kishimoto's tweets get used in videos. It's literal words. Taking a photo of someone is not comparable in the slightest to screenshotting literal words on the screen. You lot all be screenshotting Kishimoto's tweets and reposting them. Did you ask for permission from him? No, didn't think so." The person then responds, "Kishimoto is a public figure. This is just a random person. Literally not comparable at all." Unleash then tweets out, "Since people are stupid and lack morals, I just need to say to not harass Didi." Galaxy Lover 06 then responds, "Oh wow, look at that. It's almost like bringing unwanted attention to someone's tweet can genuinely get people to send them a lot of hate. Who would have guessed?" They then continue their thread by saying, "It's not just words, and you know it. If someone asks you to not do it, but you do it anyway, then that is a consent violation. Didi got a lot of harassment over this. Their account is now deactivated. Now to clarify, Unleash is not the reason why, just the last reason why." They then share some messages from Didi in Discord where they say, "There is so much misinformation. No, I did not deactivate because of Unleash. Do not give that man the credit. It also wasn't Unleash video. He didn't do anything in that regard. It was 2 other YouTubers. Unleash just gave his opinion on the matter for some reason, and his fans thought I was being an attention-seeking weirdo. So they all pointed and laughed. I already planned to deactivate because I had a terrible day before, and was just generally anxious and stressed with my popularity, so I deactivated. All you can call the Unleash situation is like the camel that broke the back, I guess. That's all that happened." Robbie continues by saying, "But this does not excuse their clear and obvious promotion and justification of online harassment, or how much of a coward they are to turn back on that in order to avoid more backlash. Guess public consequences are only okay when you're not the one being harassed? However, despite all of this, I see people giving some of the most brain-dead takes imaginable. It doesn't matter that the tweets are public. That doesn't justify or suddenly make harassment okay. Who cares if they already blew up? No one is forcing you to fuel the fire. But since you are also hellbent on the concept that public tweets are public, and therefore harassment and exposure is a consequence of that, then I suppose you won't mind me sharing screenshots of your replies and opinions, names uncensored, for my entire following to see. I will say right here, right now, do not harass anyone shown. Now personally, I think saying this doesn't do much, but according to these people, that's all you need to do. So I guess I've done my part now. If you get sent anything, then you agree I'm not responsible, right? First off, you can actively prove that just sharing a screenshot of someone's username can, will, and did get someone harassed. You people do not understand. This isn't about never sharing people's tweets or screenshots. Didi specifically wanted to be left out of the spotlight. They then share Comment Cop's tweet response to me, talking about how silly it is to say it's creepy and unconsensual to post a public tweet onto YouTube. He says, "At Coral Reefy, I am violating your consent and I own you now," reposting their tweet that I already shared. They then share that they got blocked and say, "It's all rape now." All he says, "Did your buddy get consent tweet this video at you? After all, wouldn't want people thinking you were not respecting people's boundaries now, would we?" And then finally they show this response to my tweet from Lunar Shadows where they say, "Block me and I own you." Now, the reason Coral got backlash here was not simply because I shared their tweet, but because in their tweet they make the ridiculous statement of saying that it's creepy and unconsensual to share someone's public tweet. Especially when the tweet in question is just comparing Sonic the Hedgehog game visuals. I don't think this proves Robbie's point that sharing a tweet screenshot in any context can, will, and did get people harassed. Considering that, again, I have over 100 million views worth of people looking at other people's tweets, and at least to my knowledge, no random Twitter user has gotten harassed because I showed their tweet in one of my videos. Anyways, Robbie continues by saying, secondly, none of these involves legality. Didi never said they owned any copyright claim on their tweets or legal compensation. Obviously, you don't own a tweet. She just didn't want any more extra exposure than she already got, or this much overwhelming attention. Thirdly, Didi never said you couldn't screenshot her tweets, quote retweet her, or share her screenshots here on Twitter. She was talking specifically about YouTubers using the tweets for content without her knowledge, meaning she has no idea what narrative they pushed using her word. He then shares some more tweets of people agreeing with me, like Dead Meme Frog, who said, everyone in the quote retweet to this are losers. Why care about someone screenshotting public tweets, laughing my ass off? Legendary Blue says, I don't get it. Why do you consent to screenshot a public tweet again? It's not like you own the tweet or something. And then Mithril says, if a tweets are public, then by right you can screenshot it. Robbie continues by saying, and yes, sharing screenshots on a YouTube video absolutely does get people harassed. To show off a good reply, I think this person brought up a very great point. YouTubers can't control the audience. They are responsible for what they show and need to be mindful of it. They then share a quote tweet from Marbles that says, I feel like what people aren't understanding here is that while yes, it was posted publicly, posting their content to YouTube opens them up further to harassment, given how large your audiences are. Just cover the name in MS Paint and it's fine. Robbie continues by saying, now moving on to the consent issue. First off, going off my last post, I actually reached out to this person and asked if it was okay to share this screenshot in this thread, or if they wanted to be left out to avoid anyone going after them. To my luck, they said it was fine. Not only did they get back to me quick, but they were very nice, and I am very thankful. See how easy that is? I asked for their consent. They said yes. A fairly simple concept. Literally, all you have to do is grow a pair and send a single damn message and respect the answer. Now, it's fair to say that beforehand, a YouTuber didn't know about the request to not be shown is only a mistake. But after Didi specifically clarifies that they don't want people to as a personal request, someone doing it anyway does violate their consent. No means no. They then share a response from Nothing who says, why do you need consent to post a public tweet for the whole platform to see on another platform? People are gonna do this anyway. Why be on social media then if you don't like your tweets getting screenshotted? Robbie then shows a Twitter conversation between Master Zuku and somebody else where Zuku says, then they should be private. The other person responds, no, they shouldn't have to be. A person shouldn't have to go private just to stop people from reposting their content without permission. Zuku responds, no, but otherwise it will happen. People are doing this stuff all the time to each other. It's just the most surefire way to stop it from happening. The other person responds, even then, they really shouldn't have to. A YouTuber should know to ask permission first. Zuku responds, not all YouTubers are good Samaritans and are going to ask, especially the bad ones just doing this for views. They shouldn't, but lots of people in the world suck and won't do the good thing, but instead what puts them ahead, like journalists. Robbie continues by saying, it isn't hard to censor a name or ask. I have literally been doing it throughout the making of this thread. I saw many good points I wanted to use, but their DMs were closed, so I chose not to. It's one thing to not know, but if you just don't want to, then you are a careless asshat. Finally, the tweets being public doesn't matter. That doesn't justify any harassment thrown Didi's way. You were acting like they wanted the amount of views they got, but I've talked to Didi. They never expected to get any traction. They are rightfully overwhelmed by it. When it comes to harmful content or political debates, that is an appropriate time to voice opinions, spread news, etc., because things like that have actual effect on people and often show morals. Shitty Sonic opinions are not the same and shouldn't excuse this behavior. He then shows some more tweets, this one from Moldy Queef who says, to everyone that needs to hear this, if you don't want shit used against you, don't post it. Simple as. Ballsack says, Twitter is a public forum. Posting on the internet/social media gives everyone the right to use your words and pictures. Don't want people to screenshot your dumb tweets? Then don't tweet stupid shit, lol. This shit ain't a diary. Tiny Taco says, bro, these tweets are already public. Failed to see the issue here. And then Sobelchow says, for real, both tweets have like 300k views. Does it really matter at that point? Robbie then continues by saying, yes, Didi does have a public account, but being public doesn't make the bullying, harassment, and abusive language thrown their way, including heavy racism by the way, okay. Not everyone is trying to be some internet star. Sometimes people just want to share a funny thought or image. Didi should not have to go private to avoid dealing with this stuff. They were just a sweet person sharing goofy edits and cute artwork. If someone is out on their front porch, that doesn't suddenly make it appropriate to approach and yell at them, does it? No, obviously. And yes, this is comparable to real life. The internet is just a new branch of our social lives. It has been shown to have real-life consequences, and you and I both know that. DD is a real-life person, and this bullshit has affected their mental health, and that is not okay. This isn't about legality, exposure, or DD needed to own up to anything, cause they didn't do anything. They just wanted to be open about how overwhelming internet exposure can be. Yes, legally you can show them in videos, but that still makes you a dickhead. To the people who went out of their way to harass DD, you were not justified. You made another innocent person leave this community over a goddamn tweet. That is cruel, and that's not something to be proud of. Both you and your actions absolutely disgust me. Shame on you. So after all of this, I share a couple of these tweets with their names uncensored on my YouTube channel in a short titled, Sonic Twitter says I'm creepy. I screenshot this and caption it by saying lol. Furby Demonic responds to me by saying, you are fucking pathetic. I hope you know that. Kix Camelot says, this dude is pitiful as hell. Quote retweeting again, because imagine being fucking 26 and posting Twitter screenshots of minors on YouTube, knowing fully they don't want that. Lizard Scales responds by saying, there's no fucking way you decided to be this petty instead of spending 2 seconds to edit out someone's name. My guy, this was quite possibly the most immature thing you could have done. And then one of your followers decided to spread a lie about me saying I'm a not safe for work artist at 17 years old, while the rest of them also shit talk about me. You proved my fucking point. You were 26 years old. Get a fucking grip. DJ Warner quote tweets me and says, bro is taking pleasure in starting beef with minors. This ain't the W you think it is, dog. Ronti then responds by saying, if y'all that offended, then take your fragile ass feelings and go on private. DJ Warner responds, why are you saying y'all as if I said anything other than it is loser behavior to beef with minors like this, laughing my ass off. Ronnie responds, he's not beefing with minors. He's making one joke about how fragile y'all are. DJ Warner responds, he put up minors tweets on his YouTube channel. He's beefing with minors, laughing my fucking ass off. And then the person she's beefing with, Ronnie, I checked their account and oh my god, they're the same age as Gecko Up and Down Annoyed, Not Safe for Work, and DI. So I tweet out, you are literally beefing with a minor right now, DJ Warren Stage. This ain't the W you think it is, dog. And then she responds by saying, there's a difference between replying to someone and taking someone's tweet and posting it to your YouTube channel, dog. You can't be serious right now. Middle school ass owns, only on Twitter. And then immediately after that, they go on to mock Unleash for having Muslim beliefs, who by the way is a 17-year-old British Pakistani person. So literally beefing with a minor. And this whole drama started because Coral Reefy was beefing with Unleash, who is a minor. Now, I don't think interacting with minors on Twitter, especially when they're just 17, is bad in the slightest. And I have no idea why people's ages got involved in this conversation about posting a tweet comparing the graphics of Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Frontiers in a YouTube video and talking about it. But this whole conversation doesn't really make sense to me at all. Like, how is this creepy? How is this unconsensual? How did Premi de Remy, using a tweet to talk about the graphics between two Sonic games, turn into a discussion about racism, harassment, and all this other type of stuff? It is absolutely ridiculous and has little to no base in reality. But apparently all these people speaking out are either minors or have the mind of a minor, like the 21-year-old DJ Warren who is harassing the Pakistani minor Unleash. But honestly, I do think she has a right to criticize his tweets because I don't hold this belief that minors should be immune to criticism on Twitter like this person does. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this all in the comment section below. I'm probably being way too petty by even making this, but I cover Twitter drama and this is some funny Twitter drama, so fuck it. If you want to see more Sonic related videos, I have a long video where I play through all of Sonic Adventure 2 with Willie Mac Show while we talk about drama, as well as a shorter video responding to a funny video that complains about Donkey's Sonic Frontiers review. Both of them are very good videos and underrated on my channel in my opinion, so I highly recommend you check them out. Anyways, that's about it for the video. I will see you guys in another one.